The lobby's air conditioning is too cold for someone who's barely slept in the last 30 hours. Serenity grips the strap of her carry-on bag, the leather slipping from the sweat on her palm, and focuses on the gleam of the sign ahead. Yoon Healthcare and Tech Conference, redesigning life expectancy. Banners with upward trending graphs, smiling faces with smartwatches on their wrists, slogans about total control of your health. Control. The word almost makes her laugh. Her cell phone vibrates for the 4th time in 2 minutes. An email notification from the remote client, another urgent question about user flows. Below the inbox, a red warning icon, the blood test result she hasn't fully opened. She knows what the doctor said. Severe anemia, alarming ferritin levels, clear signs of exhaustion. You need to stop, he repeated. She came to the other side of the world. Does that count as stopping? The Korean announcements echo in the marble hall, full of consonants she still stumbles over. People in dark suits, heels, badges with names ending in Min, Jun, He. The smell of expensive coffee wafts from a sophisticated kiosk, and her body can no longer distinguish hunger from anxiety. Her vision starts to get granular at the edges. The phone screen blurs, the letters dance. Coffee. I just need coffee, she thinks, taking the first step towards the kiosk. The floor seems farther away than it should. The sound fades, as if someone had turned down the volume on the world. She feels her heart race, and at the same time, a weight in her limbs, as if she's walking through water. A gray pillar appears to her left. She reaches out to steady herself, but misses by a few inches. Her body breaks the silent pact it always held with her, to endure. Across the hall, Yoon Seung-min exits a private elevator, surrounded by 2 directors and Choi Jin-woo, who holds a tablet with the afternoon's presentation. The numbers still swirl in Seung-min's mind. Adoption forecasts for the new app, percentages of cardiovascular risk reduction, profit margins in emerging markets. He barely sees people. He sees flows. Until a strange movement invades the corner of his eye. A body that doesn't just move, it falls. A suitcase that slides and spins on the marble. A phone that slips and rotates in the air before hitting the floor. Curly hair in slow-motion descent, like a slow-motion film. A breath caught in the throat of someone passing out. Seung-min reacts before he thinks. He drops the tablet, ignores the director's call next to him, crosses the space in 3 long strides. The sound of his own shoe echoes loudly. The world narrows. His fingers reach Serenity's arm a second before she hits her head. Her entire body collapses against his chest, warm and heavy. Her perfume is discreet, a hint of citrus and something sweet. Her hair brushes the fine fabric of his suit. Her face, unconscious, rests for an instant in the curve of his shoulder. Time, which always fit into spreadsheets and schedules, fails. When was the last time someone fell apart in front of him? And he actually cared. Seung-min's gaze meets Jin-woo's over Serenity's shoulder. Without hesitation, his voice comes out low but sharp. Call the building doctor, now. Cancel everything. She's going to the hospital with us. It's not the CEO speaking. It's a man whose order seems, for the first time, not to fit into any KPI. And he still has no idea that, in that instant, he didn't just save a stranger's body. He changed the axis of his entire life. Gan, if you've ever wondered what happens when someone's fall becomes the moment everything shifts, when a stranger's collapse forces a man to confront the cracks in his own world, then stay with us. Subscribe to hear more stories like this, where human connection rewrites even the most carefully controlled lives. The private elevator smells like leather and glass cleaner. Serenity's eyes flutter open halfway, enough to register ceiling lights sliding past her vision in a rhythmic pulse. Her head is tilted back against something firm, a shoulder, she realizes. A man's shoulder. The fabric under her cheek is expensive, smooth. There's a faint scent of cedar and something metallic, like ink on paper. Don't move yet, a voice says in English, accented but clear. Low. Clinical. We're almost there. She tries to sit up anyway, instinct overriding logic. Her body doesn't cooperate. Her limbs feel distant, borrowed. I said don't move. Firmer this time. The elevator doors open onto a pristine white corridor. A woman in scrubs rushes forward with a wheelchair. Serenity's brain catches up enough to recognize the situation. She's being carried. By someone. By him. I can walk. She manages, voice hoarse. No, you can't. He lowers her into the wheelchair with surprising gentleness, his hands steadying her shoulders until she's seated. His eyes meet hers for the first time. Dark, sharp, unreadable. You collapsed in the middle of a public lobby. You're not walking anywhere until a doctor clears you. She wants to argue. The words stick. He straightens, adjusting his suit jacket with one efficient motion, and turns to the nurse. Run a full panel. Dehydration, blood work, vitals. I want results within the hour. The nurse nods quickly, the kind of obedience that comes from recognizing authority. Serenity watches him. This stranger who speaks like someone used to being obeyed. He's tall, angular, the kind of face that belongs on magazine covers. There's a thin silver ring on his little finger, a tablet tucked under his arm. Who are you? She asks. He pauses. For a second, something flickers across his expression. Surprise, maybe, that she doesn't know. Then it's gone. Yoon Seung-min. He hands her a business card, printed in both Korean and English. CEO, Yoon Healthcare and Tech. And you are? Serenity Robinson. She takes the card with fingers that still tremble slightly. Look, I appreciate the rescue, but I'm fine. Just jet lag. I don't need... You need medical attention. He cuts her off, not unkindly, but with the finality of someone who doesn't negotiate. You stopped breathing for 3 seconds before I reached you. That's not jet lag. Her chest tightens. She wants to tell him he's wrong, that she's handled worse, that she doesn't need some corporate executive playing hero. But the room tilts a little when she tries to stand, and the nurse's hand is already on her arm, guiding her down the hall. Seung-min follows at a measured distance. She catches his reflection in the glass wall, phone to his ear, speaking rapid Korean, his free hand gesturing in controlled, precise movements. He looks like someone who solves problems for a living, who turns chaos into data. And right now, she realizes, she's the problem he's decided to solve. The examination room is small, sterile, and far too bright. Serenity sits on the edge of the paper-covered table, an IV drip taped to her arm, while a doctor with kind eyes reviews her chart. Nurse Kang Hee-jin stands nearby, adjusting the saline bag with the easy competence of someone who's done this 1,000 times. Your ferritin is at 18, the doctor says gently. Normal range starts at 50. You're severely anemic. When was your last full meal? Serenity tries to remember. Yesterday, maybe. And before that? I don't know. 2 days? Hye-jin winces. The doctor doesn't look surprised, just tired. You're also dehydrated. Blood pressure is low, signs of acute stress. Ms. Robinson, your body is running on fumes. I know. She does. She's known for weeks. I just needed to get through this trip. Then I'll rest. You'll rest now. The voice comes from the doorway. Seung-min steps inside without waiting for permission, Jinwoo close behind him. Cancel my afternoon meetings. Reschedule the board call. Jinwoo's eyes widen. Sajangnim, the quarterly review. I said cancel it. There's a beat of silence. Jinwoo nods and slips out, phone already in hand. The doctor glances between Serenity and Seung-min, clearly reading a dynamic she doesn't understand yet, and excuses himself with a quiet bow. Hee-jin lingers, checking the IV one more time. You're lucky he was there, she murmurs in English, nodding toward Seung-min. Most people would have just called security. Lucky, Serenity echoes. It doesn't feel like luck. It feels like being caught. When they're alone, Seung-min pulls a chair close and sits, elbows on his knees, fingers steepled. He studies her the way someone might study a broken machine. Analytically, looking for the point of failure. You're a UX researcher, he says. It's not a question. She blinks. How do you... Your business card. It was in your bag. He gestures to her belongings, neatly arranged on the counter. You specialize in human behavior and digital health interfaces. And you went through my things. I needed to know who you were, in case you didn't wake up. His tone is matter of fact, like this is reasonable. You're here for the conference. Was. I think I missed it. You did. He leans back, still watching her. Why come to Seoul if you're this exhausted? The question lands harder than it should. Because she couldn't stay home. Because rest felt like failure. Because if she stopped moving, she'd have to face the fact that she'd spent 3 years burning herself to ash for a career that didn't love her back. Why does anyone come to a conference? She deflects. Networking, learning, free coffee. His mouth almost twitches. Almost. You need to stay in Seoul for at least 3 days. Doctor's orders. You need iron infusions, rest, and monitoring. I have a hotel. The budget kind with no room service and vending machine coffee. She narrows her eyes. You really did go through my stuff. I'm thorough. He stands, smoothing his jacket. You'll stay at the company guest house. Private, quiet, medical staff on call. No arguments. I don't take charity. It's not charity. It's liability. His gaze sharpens. You collapsed in my building during my event. If something happens to you, it reflects on my company. Consider it risk management. She should be offended. She is offended. But there's something almost refreshing about his bluntness, the absence of false warmth. He's not pretending to care. He's just managing the situation. Fine, she says. 3 days? Then I'm gone. 3 days, he agrees. He moves toward the door, then pauses. Ms. Robinson, your body gave you a warning today. Next time, it might not give you the chance to hear it. The door clicks shut behind him. Serenity stares at the space where he stood, her pulse still unsteady. She doesn't know yet that 3 days will stretch into 3 weeks, that the man who carried her out of the lobby will become the axis around which her entire world tilts, that the company she's about to enter carries a history that will shatter everything she thought she knew about second chances. All she knows is that her body betrayed her in front of a stranger. And for some reason, he didn't look away. The guest house is nothing like Serenity expected. It's a mid-rise building tucked into a quiet Gangnam side street, modern but understated, with floor-to-ceiling windows and furniture that looks like it came from an interior design magazine. Her room is on the 5th floor, a queen bed with crisp white linens, a desk overlooking the city, a small kitchenette stocked with herbal teas and vitamin-enriched snacks. There's a folder on the desk. She opens it to find a printed schedule. Iron infusion appointments, meal delivery times, a contact number for Nurse Kang. At the bottom, in precise handwriting, rest is not optional. YSM. She should be grateful. She is in a complicated way. But there's something unnerving about being managed so efficiently, like she's a project someone's optimizing. Her phone buzzes, a message from her mother. Mom, how's Seoul? Did you make it to the conference? Serenity stares at the screen. She could tell the truth, that she passed out in a corporate lobby and is now essentially under house arrest by a CEO who treats kindness like a business transaction. But her mother has enough to worry about. Chronic pain, medical bills, the ghost of the factory job that broke her body years ago. Serenity. It's good. Busy. Learning a lot. I'll call soon. She sets the phone down and closes her eyes. The exhaustion is still there, a heavy, bone-deep thing that no amount of sleep seems to touch. A knock at the door startles her. She opens it to find Jin Woo, holding a garment bag and a small box. Ms. Robinson. He bows slightly. Sejang Neem asked me to bring these. Tomorrow you'll meet with the UX team. He thought you might want something appropriate. She takes the bag, suspicious. Inside is a tailored blazer in soft charcoal, a silk blouse, and well-cut trousers. The box holds a pair of sleek black heels. He bought me clothes? Jinwoo looks mildly uncomfortable. He instructed his assistant to arrange it. He thought, given the circumstances, you might not have packed for a business meeting. She almost laughs. It's absurd. Also accurate. Her suitcase contains jeans, sneakers, and exactly one nice shirt that's now wrinkled beyond salvation. Tell him thank you, she says, because manners still matter. And tell him I'll reimburse him. Jinwoo's expression suggests this is not a battle she'll win. I'll pass along the message. The meeting is at 10. A car will pick you up at 9:30. He leaves. Serenity closes the door and stares at the clothes. They're her size. The style is professional but not generic, chosen by someone who paid attention. She's not sure whether to be impressed or unsettled. Maybe both. The next morning, the company headquarters is even more intimidating in daylight. Glass and steel, the Yoon Healthcare and Tech logo glowing in blue above the entrance. Inside, the lobby is full of employees moving with choreographed efficiency, everyone dressed like they're auditioning for a corporate drama. Jinwoo meets her at reception and guides her to the 11th floor. The UX department is open plan, filled with monitors displaying wireframes and user journey maps. A group of designers clusters around a standing desk, arguing in Korean about button placement. Seungmin's office is at the far end, separated by frosted glass. He's on the phone when they arrive, pacing in front of a wall-sized screen showing app analytics. He gestures for her to sit. She does, taking in the space. Minimal, organized, no personal photos. Just awards, framed articles, and a small potted plant that looks suspier well-maintained than anything she's ever owned. He ends the call and turns to her. You look better. I had iron pumped into my veins and slept for 12 hours. It's amazing what basic care does. His mouth quirks. Sarcasm, good. That means you're recovering. He sits across from her, pulling up a presentation on his tablet. I want to hire you. She blinks. Excuse me? As a consultant. 4 weeks. You'll audit our health monitoring app, conduct user research, and deliver recommendations. Standard consulting rate plus accommodation and medical support. You don't even know my rate. I looked it up. It's fair. I'll double it. She stares at him. You can't just decide that. I already did. He slides the tablet toward her. On screen is a contract, already drafted, her name filled in. You're good at what you do. I need someone who understands how real people interact with health technology. Someone who won't just tell me what I want to hear. And you think that's me because I passed out in your lobby? I think that's you because you're still alive despite ignoring every warning your body gave you. You understand the user who doesn't have time to be sick. That's the majority of our market. He leans forward. 4 weeks. Then you go home with enough money to actually take the sabbatical you need. It's a good offer. Too good. Which means there's a catch. Why me? She presses. You have an entire department. My department builds what I tell them to build. They're brilliant, but they think like engineers. You think like someone who's lived in the gap between what technology promises and what it actually delivers. His gaze is steady. I want that gap closed. You can help me do it. She should say no. She came to Seoul to escape work, not dive deeper into it. But the truth is, she needs the money. And there's something compelling about the challenge, about the chance to actually shape something, instead of just critiquing it from the outside. 4 weeks, she says. But I set my own schedule. No 18-hour days. And if my health gets worse, I walk. No questions. Agreed. They shake on it. His hand is warm, his grip firm, but not crushing. Professional. Welcome to Yoon Healthcare and Tech, Ms. Robinson. Call me Serenity. Serenity. He tests the name, the syllables careful in his mouth. Then you should call me Seungmin. We'll be working closely. She doesn't know yet just how closely, or how much that proximity will cost them both. The first week is a controlled burn of meetings, workshops, and user interviews. Serenity sits in on product reviews, watches designers argue over color palettes, and interviews actual users, people who downloaded the app and either loved it or deleted it within days. The patterns emerge quickly. The app is technically flawless. It tracks steps, heart rate, sleep cycles, calories, hydration. It sends reminders, generates reports, syncs with wearables. It does everything it's supposed to do. And users hate it. Not all of them, but enough. The complaints are consistent. It's cold, clinical, exhausting. It feels like a boss monitoring their every move. One user, a young mother, tells Serenity, "I downloaded it to feel healthier. Instead, I felt guilty every time I looked at my phone." Another, an office worker, says, "It kept telling me to drink water. I know I should drink water. But when you're in back-to-back meetings, a notification doesn't help. It just reminds you that you're failing." Serenity takes notes, her mind already sketching solutions. The app needs warmth, empathy. It needs to feel like a companion, not a surveillance system. She presents her findings to the UX team in a conference room that smells like expensive coffee and stress. Han Ji-ho sits at the head of the table, arms crossed, his expression skeptical. "So your solution," he says slowly, "is to make the app nicer?" "My solution is to make it human," Serenity corrects. "Right now, it speaks to users like they're data points. You have not met your step goal." That's accurate. It's also demoralizing. What if instead it said, "Today was a busy day. Want to try a 5-minute walk to reset?" Ji-ho frowns. That's subjective. How does the app know it was a busy day? Context, calendar integration, movement patterns. If someone's been stationary for 6 hours, the app can infer they're working. It's not hard. It's imprecise. It's empathetic. She leans forward. People don't want precision when they're exhausted. They want to feel seen, understood. Your app is technically perfect, but it has no soul. The room goes quiet. Ji-ho's jaw tightens. A junior designer looks like he wants to applaud, but doesn't dare. Shung-min, who's been silent until now, speaks from the back of the room. "Show me a prototype." Serenity turns. He's leaning against the wall, arms folded, his gaze steady on her. "A rough wireframe," he continues. "I want to see what soul looks like in a user interface." She nods. "Give me 3 days." "You have 2. She almost smiles. "Then I'll need access to your design tools, and coffee. A lot of coffee. Jin-woo will set it up." Shung-min straightens, addressing the room. "Everyone here will support Ms. Robinson's work. If she needs resources, provide them. If she needs data, pull it. This is priority 1. Ji-ho opens his mouth, then closes it. Serenity catches the look he throws her, part resentment, part curiosity. She's disrupted his carefully built system. She's either about to prove him wrong or make them both look foolish. She has 2 days to figure out which. That night, she works late in a small office the company set up for her. The design software is intuitive, and she loses herself in the flow, reworking notification language, sketching new interface elements, adding micro-interactions that feel encouraging rather than judgmental. At some point, the door opens. She glances up to find Shung-min standing there, jacket off, sleeves rolled up, looking more human than she's ever seen him. "It's past midnight," he says. "Is it?" She checks her phone. 12:47 a.m. "Oh, you're supposed to be resting." "I'm supposed to be delivering a prototype in 2 days. You don't get both." He steps inside, closing the door behind him. "Show me what you have so far." She hesitates, then turns the monitor toward him. He leans in, studying the screen. She's redesigned the home dashboard. Warmer colors, softer language, a progress wheel that fills gradually instead of flashing red when goals aren't met. "It's gentler," he observes. "It's human." He scrolls through the wireframes, silent. She watches his face, trying to read him. He's hard to decipher, all sharp lines and controlled expressions. But there's a faint crease between his brows, the kind that appears when someone's thinking deeply. "You changed the failure state," he says finally. "There is no failure state anymore, just progress and room to grow. Nobody wakes up wanting to fail. The app shouldn't reinforce that feeling. My board will say it's too soft, that it won't drive engagement." "Your board isn't your user." She crosses her arms. "You hired me to tell you the truth. Here it is. Your app is brilliantly built and emotionally tone-deaf. It's a mirror that only shows people what they're doing wrong. No one wants to look in that mirror. He's quiet for a long moment. Then, unexpectedly, he smiles. It's small, barely there, but real. You don't hold back, do you? Would you prefer I did? No. He straightens, sliding his hands into his pockets. Finish the prototype. I'll present it to the board myself. You will? It's my company, and you're right. The admission surprises her. Men like him, powerful, successful, used to being obeyed, don't usually admit when someone else is right, especially not someone they just met. Thank you, she says, and means it. He nods and turns to leave, then pauses at the door. Serenity. Go to sleep after this. You're no good to anyone if you collapse again. Is that the CEO talking or the guy who caught me in a lobby? He glances back, something unreadable in his eyes. Both. The door clicks shut. Serenity stares at the screen, her pulse unsteady for reasons that have nothing to do with anemia. She saves her work, shuts down the computer, and heads back to the guest house. But sleep doesn't come easily, because she's starting to realize that the distance she needs to keep from Yoon Sung-min is shrinking. And she's not sure either of them knows how to stop it. The prototype presentation happens in a glass-walled boardroom on the top floor, with a view of Seoul that looks like something out of a film. The board members arrive in waves, executives in tailored suits, a few older men and women who carry themselves with the kind of authority that doesn't need to announce itself. Yoon Mi-suk is the last to enter. She's smaller than Serenity expected, but her presence fills the room. Silver hair cut sharp as a blade, a navy hanbok-inspired blazer, and eyes that take in everything with surgical precision. Sajangnim. She greets Sung-min with a slight bow, formal even in family. Her gaze flicks to Serenity. And this is our consultant. Serenity Robinson, Sung-min says smoothly. UX researcher. She's led the audit of our health monitoring app. Mi-suk's expression doesn't shift. I look forward to hearing what you found, Ms. Robinson. The words are polite. The tone suggests she's already decided this is a waste of time. Serenity connects her laptop to the projector. The screen lights up with her redesigned interface. She walks them through it. New language, empathetic notifications, progress indicators that celebrate small wins instead of highlighting failures. Current version, she says, pulling up a side-by-side comparison. User opens the app after a stressful day. The first thing they see, you missed your step goal. You are 3,000 steps behind. Red text, exclamation point, immediate failure. She switches to her prototype. New version, same scenario. You've moved 4,500 steps today. Great start. Want to add a short walk before bed? Green text, encouraging, forward-looking. One of the board members, an older man with steel gray hair, speaks up. The current version is accurate. If a user hasn't met their goal, we should inform them. Inform, yes. Shame, no. Serenity meets his gaze. Your data shows that users who see failure messages are 30% more likely to stop using the app within a month. You're not motivating them. You're driving them away. Jiho, sitting near the back, shifts uncomfortably. He built the current interface. This isn't just feedback. It's a public dissection of his work. Mi-suk leans forward. Ms. Robinson, our app is designed to encourage discipline. Health requires consistency. If we soften the messaging too much, users may become complacent. With respect, Chairwoman Yoon, that's not what the research shows. Serenity pulls up a data slide. User interviews, app retention rates, feedback surveys. 82% of users described the app as stressful or guilt-inducing. Only 36% said it made them feel healthier. You're not building discipline. You're building resentment. The room goes still. Sung-min's face is unreadable, but his fingers tap once against the table, a small tell. Discipline, Serenity continues, her voice steady, doesn't come from fear of failure. It comes from feeling supported, from small, achievable wins that build confidence. Your app right now? It's a drill sergeant. What users need is a coach. Mi-suk's gaze sharpens. And you believe a few kind words will change behavior? I believe that people are more likely to take care of themselves when they don't feel like they're constantly failing. Yes. There's a beat of silence. Then Seung-min speaks. We'll pilot the new design. Limited release, 2,000 users, A/B test against the current version. 4 weeks. If retention improves, we roll it out fully. Mi-suk turns to him. Seung-min. It's a sound proposal, Aunt. His tone is respectful but firm. And the data supports it. We test, we measure, we decide. She holds his gaze for a long moment, then inclines her head. Very well. 4 weeks. The meeting ends. Board members file out, a few nodding politely at Serenity, others ignoring her entirely. Jiho lingers near the door, his expression tight. That was well done, he says quietly. Even if it made me look incompetent. That wasn't my intent. I know. He adjusts his glasses. But it's what happened. I built that interface based on what I was told users needed. Turns out, I should have asked them instead. There's no bitterness in his voice, just exhaustion. Serenity recognizes it. The fatigue of someone who's been trying to do everything right and keeps getting it wrong. The pilot's a good compromise, she offers. It's politics. He almost smiles. But yes, it's also smart. He leaves. Serenity gathers her laptop, aware that Seung-min is still in the room, standing by the window with his back to her. You handled my aunt well, he says without turning around. Did I? She doesn't respect people who bend? You didn't. Serenity joins him at the window, looking out over the city. She's protective of you, and the company. She raised me after my father died. She taught me how to lead, how to make hard decisions. His voice is quiet, almost distant. How to survive when everything's falling apart. It's the first personal thing he's shared. Serenity doesn't push, just waits. My father died of a heart attack, he continues. No warning. He was 53, healthy, ran marathons. One day he was fine. The next he was gone. He finally looks at her. That's why I built this company. To make sure no one else has to lose someone without warning. To give people control. She hears the weight behind the words. The grief that never quite healed. Control's an illusion, though, isn't it? Maybe, but it's a comforting one. Is it? Or is it just exhausting? He doesn't answer. And in that silence, Serenity realizes that the man who controls everything is terrified of the one thing he can't predict. Loss. Thank you, he says finally. For the work. For pushing back. Just doing my job. No. You're doing more than that. He meets her eyes. You're making me question whether I've been building the right thing all along. Before she can respond, his phone buzzes. He glances at the screen, and the warmth in his expression shuts down like a door closing. I have another meeting. Jinwoo will send the pilot details. He leaves without another word. Serenity stands alone in the empty boardroom, the city sprawling below, and wonders what it costs someone to hold the weight of a company, a legacy, and a grief that never ended, and whether she's about to become part of that weight. 3 weeks in, and Seoul has started to feel less foreign. Serenity knows which subway line gets her to Gangnam fastest, which cafe near the hospital makes the best Americano, and how to bow just enough to be polite without feeling like she's performing. Nurse Kang Hae-jin has become something close to a friend. They grab lunch between Serenity's iron infusions, and Hee-jin teaches her Korean food etiquette, how to hold chopsticks properly, why you never pour your own drink, the difference between jjigae and guk. You're looking better, Hee-jin observes one afternoon over bibimbap. More color in your face, less like a ghost. Serenity laughs. High praise. I'm serious. When you first came in, I thought you were going to collapse again any second. Hee-jin stirs her soup thoughtfully. You work for Yoon Healthcare now, right? Consulting for them. Temporary. Still, that's impressive. They're one of the biggest companies in Korea. She hesitates. Also one of the most intense. Intense how? The CEO, Yoon Seung-min. He's brilliant. Everyone knows that. But he's also... She searches for the word. Cold. efficient. People say he treats everything like a business problem, even relationships. Serenity thinks of the man who carried her out of the lobby, who canceled meetings to make sure she was safe, who listens when she challenges him. He's not that simple. Hyejin gives her a long look. You like him. I respect him. That's not what I said. Serenity focuses on her food, unwilling to examine that observation too closely. Because the truth is, she does like him, more than is wise. And she's not sure when professional respect started feeling like something heavier. Her phone buzzes, an email from an address she doesn't recognize. The subject line, "You should know the truth." She opens it, frowning. Inside is a single PDF attachment, no message. Everything okay? Hyejin asks. Yeah, just work stuff. She doesn't open the attachment until later, back at the guest house. When she does, her blood goes cold. It's a corporate document, stamped and official. Restructuring Plan 2011, Factory Operations Division. Pages and pages of organizational charts, cost projections, and employee impact assessments. At the bottom of page 12, a list of facilities slated for closure. One of them is in North Carolina, the textile factory where her mother worked for 15 years. Serenity's hands shake as she scrolls. The document is clinical, full of euphemisms. Workforce optimization, redundancy elimination, operational efficiency gains. What it means, in plain language, mass layoffs, minimal severance, families thrown into chaos. Her mother never talked much about losing that job. Just that one day, the factory was there. The next, it wasn't. She was 47, with no college degree and a daughter to support. She worked 3 part-time jobs for 2 years until her body gave out. Chronic pain, stress-induced illness, medical debt that still hasn't fully cleared. And at the bottom of the restructuring plan, in the signature block, approved by Yoon Sung-min, executive director. The date is from 2011. He would have been 25. Young, newly in power, trying to prove himself. He signed the order that destroyed her mother's life. Serenity closes the laptop. Her chest is tight, her breath shallow. She wants to scream, to throw something, to demand answers. Instead, she sits in silence, staring at the city lights outside her window, and tries to reconcile 2 truths. The man who caught her when she fell. The man who pulled the rug out from under her family. And she doesn't know which one is real. She doesn't confront him immediately. She needs time to think, to decide whether this changes everything or nothing. The pilot launch goes live. Early data is promising. User retention is up. Feedback is positive. Jiho grudgingly admits that the empathetic interface might actually work. Seung-min schedules a follow-up meeting to discuss scaling the redesign. Serenity attends, professional and composed, and doesn't mention the document. Not yet. But it's there, a weight between them, invisible and heavy. After the meeting, Seung-min asks if she has dinner plans. No, she says, cautious. There's a place I want to show you, quiet, good food, no business talk. She should say no. She should keep the distance that's rapidly collapsing. But she's tired of fighting her own instincts, so she says yes. The restaurant is tucked into a narrow street in Itaewon, small and warm, with low tables and paper lanterns. Seung-min orders for both of them. Galbi, banchan, a bottle of soju that the server pours into tiny glasses. You don't drink at business meetings, Serenity observes. This isn't a business meeting. Then what is it? He considers. A thank you for the work you've done, and for... He pauses, choosing words carefully. For making me see things differently. She takes a sip of soju. It burns, bright and sharp. You don't strike me as someone who changes his mind often. I don't. Which is why it matters when I do. The food arrives, and they eat in comfortable near silence. It's strange how easy it is to be around him when the walls come down. He's still controlled, still precise, but there's a softness at the edges. Small jokes, a quiet laugh, the way he refills her glass without asking. Can I ask you something? she says, setting down her chopsticks. Of course. Your father. You said he died suddenly. Is that really why you built this company? To control the unpredictable? He's quiet for a long moment. Yes, but also because I needed something to focus on that wasn't grief. Work became the only thing that made sense. He looks at her. I think you understand that. Using work to avoid feeling. She does. Too well. What happens when the work runs out? I don't know. I've never let it. That's not sustainable. Neither is ignoring your health until you collapse in a public lobby. She almost smiles. Touché. They finish the meal. Outside, the street is alive with nightlife, laughter, music, the warm glow of restaurant windows. Seungmin's driver is waiting, but he waves him off. Walk with me. They wander through the neighborhood, past street vendors and late-night cafes. Seoul at night feels different. Louder, brighter, more alive. Serenity is acutely aware of how close he's walking. Close enough that their hands almost brush. I have a question for you, he says. Fair's fair. Why did you really come to Seoul? She could deflect. But honesty feels safer than evasion. I was running away. From work, from expectations. From the fact that I'd spent 3 years in a relationship with someone who saw me as a project, not a person. She kicks a pebble down the sidewalk. I thought if I came somewhere completely new, I could figure out who I was outside of all that. And have you? I'm getting there. He stops walking. They're standing under a streetlight, the city humming around them. I don't see you as a project, Serenity. Then what do you see? His gaze is steady, intense. Someone brave enough to fall apart and keep going. Someone who challenges me. Someone He stops, the control reasserting itself. Someone I'm glad I caught. Her heart is pounding. She should step back. She should remember the document, the factory, the name at the bottom of the page. But right now, standing under the streetlight with him looking at her like she's something fragile and fierce at once, all she can think is, what if I let myself fall again? Seungmin. Her phone rings. The spell breaks. She glances at the screen. Her mother. I should take this. He nods. I'll wait. She steps aside, answering. Hey, Mom. Serenity, honey, I'm sorry to call so late. Her mother's voice is tight with pain. I'm at the ER. My back went out again. They're keeping me overnight for observation. Serenity's chest constricts. What do you need? Nothing. I'm fine. I just wanted you to know in case you tried to call. A pause. You sound out of breath. Are you okay? I'm fine, just walking. In Korea? At night? Be careful, baby. I will. I'll call you tomorrow. She hangs up, and the weight of reality crashes back. Her mother in the ER. The factory that ruined her body. The man who signed the order. Seungmin steps closer. Is everything all right? My mom's in the hospital. His expression shifts immediately to concern. Do you need to fly back? No, it's chronic. She'll be okay. She looks at him, and suddenly the distance between who he was and who he is feels unbridgeable. I need to go back to the guest house. Of course. I'll have the driver. I'll take the subway. Serenity, please. He doesn't argue. Just nods, the walls going back up. If you need anything, I know. She walks away before she changes her mind, before she asks the question that's burning in her chest. How could you? Because she's not ready for the answer. Not yet. The next day, Serenity buries herself in work. The pilot data comes in strong. 23% increase in retention. User satisfaction scores up across every metric. Jiho presents the findings to the executive team, and for the first time, he credits her by name. Seungmin watches from across the room, his expression unreadable. After the meeting, she avoids him. Takes lunch at her desk. Leaves early. Ignores the messages from Jinwoo asking if she's available for a check-in. But avoidance only works for so long. 2 days later, Seungmin appears at her office door. You've been avoiding me, he says without preamble. I've been busy. Serenity. His voice is gentle but firm. "What's wrong?" She looks at him. This man who's been kind, attentive, frustratingly perfect in all the ways that matter now. And she can't hold it in anymore. "Why did you approve the factory closures in 2011? He goes still. "What?" "The restructuring plan. North Carolina, Ohio. 3 facilities in Korea. You signed off on all of it." She pulls up the document on her laptop, turns the screen toward him. "My mother worked at the North Carolina plant. She lost her job, her health insurance, everything. And you signed the order." His face pales. He steps closer, reading the document, and she watches as recognition and something like horror crosses his expression. "I remember this," he says quietly. "I'm sure you do." "Serenity. I was 25. My father had just died. The board, my aunt, told me the company was on the verge of collapse. That if we didn't cut costs immediately, we'd lose everything. Thousands more jobs." He looks at her. "I thought I was saving the company." "You were. At the cost of people like my mother." "I know." His voice cracks, just slightly. "I've known for years. That decision, it's one of the things I regret most. Regret doesn't pay medical bills. No, it doesn't." He sinks into the chair across from her, and for the first time he looks small, breakable. "I was young, and I was desperate, and I made a choice that hurt people. I can't undo that. But I've spent the last 14 years trying to build something better. To make sure the company I lead now doesn't treat people as expendable." "Is that why you built the health division? Guilt?" "Partially. Also because I realized that profit without humanity is just destruction in a suit." She wants to stay angry. It would be easier. But she can see the truth in his eyes, the genuine remorse, the weight he's carried. "I don't know how to reconcile this," she admits. "The man who caught me. The man who signed that document. They feel like different people." "They are, and they're not." He leans forward, hands clasped. "I can't change the past, but I can take responsibility for it. Tell me what you need. Compensation for your mother? A public apology? I'll do it. I don't want your money." "Then what do you want?" "I want you to mean it. Not because it's good PR, but because you actually understand what you did." "I do. I swear I do." She searches his face and finds no deception. Just exhaustion, regret, and something raw. "My mother's been in chronic pain for years," she says quietly. "She can't work full time. She's drowning in medical debt, and she never complains because she thinks that's just how life is. That she doesn't deserve better. She does. And so do all the others." He stands. "I'm going to reopen the case, publicly. Offer reparations to every affected employee. It won't erase what happened, but it's a start. Your board will fight you. Let them." She almost believes him. Almost. "Why now?" she asks. "Why not years ago?" "Because years ago I didn't have someone forcing me to look in the mirror." His gaze holds hers. "You made me see it. The gap between what I thought I was building and what I actually built. I can't unsee it now." The air between them is charged, fragile. She wants to reach for him. She wants to run. "I need time," she says finally, "to think about all of this. Take all the time you need." He leaves. Serenity sits alone in the quiet office, her heart a knot of anger and confusion, and something dangerously close to hope. Because if he means it, if he actually follows through, maybe the man who caught her and the man who signed that document can become the man who makes things right. But she's not sure yet if she can trust him, or if she even wants to. The message comes 2 days later, from a reporter at the Seoul Standard, a woman named Park Minji. "Minji Park, Ms. Robinson, I'm investigating Yoon Healthcare and Tech's labor practices from 2010-2012. I understand your mother was employed at one of the affected facilities. I'd like to speak with you. Confidentially." Serenity stares at the message. She doesn't know how the reporter got her contact, but it's not hard to guess. Corporate leaks, public records, a little digging. She doesn't respond immediately. Instead, she calls her mother. "Hey, baby." Her mom sounds tired but stable. How's Seoul? Complicated. Serenity takes a breath. Mom, do you remember the factory? The one that closed in 2011? A long pause. Of course I do. Why? The company that owned it. Do you remember the name? It was some Korean conglomerate. I don't remember exactly. Why are you asking? Because I'm working for them. Or I was. Another pause, longer this time. Serenity. I didn't know when I took the job. I just found out. Her mother sighs, and the sound is heavy with old pain. What are you going to do? I don't know. A journalist wants to talk to me about what happened back then. And you're thinking about it. Shouldn't I? They hurt you. They hurt a lot of people. They did. And I'm not saying forgive them. But baby, you need to be careful. These companies have power. If you go public. I know. Do you? Because once you're part of a story like this, you can't take it back. Serenity closes her eyes. Her mother's right. But so is the anger that's been simmering since she saw that document. I'll think about it, she promises. I won't do anything rash. Good. And Serenity? Whatever you decide, I'm proud of you. The words settle warm in her chest. Thanks, Mom. She hangs up and stares at the journalist's message. Then slowly she types a response. Serenity. I'm willing to talk, but off the record for now. The reply comes within minutes. Minji Park. Agreed. Coffee tomorrow? I know a place in Ida 1. Serenity. Send me the address. The cafe is small, tucked into a side street, the kind of place where expats and locals mix without pretense. Minji is already there when Serenity arrives. A woman in her mid-30s, sharp eyes, a recorder on the table that's currently off. Thank you for meeting me, Minji says in perfect English. I know this isn't easy. It's not. Serenity sits, ordering a latte from the server. What exactly are you investigating? Labor practices during the 2011 restructuring. I've been digging through documents, interviewing former employees. The picture that's emerging isn't pretty. Minji leans forward. Yoon Healthcare and Tech made billions in the years following those closures. Meanwhile, the workers they laid off received minimal severance, some as little as 2 weeks' pay for 15 years of service. Serenity's jaw tightens. My mother was one of them. I know. And I'm sorry. Minji's voice is genuine. But here's the thing. This story matters. Not just because of what happened, but because Yoon Healthcare positions itself as a company that cares about people's well-being. The hypocrisy is staggering. Seung Min, the CEO, he's offered to reopen the case, to provide reparations. Minji's eyebrows rise. Did he? That's new. When? 2 days ago, after I confronted him. And you believe him? Serenity hesitates. I want to. That's not the same thing. Minji pulls out a folder, sliding photos across the table. Factory workers, tired faces, protest signs. These are people whose lives were destroyed. Some lost their homes, others their health. One man committed suicide 6 months after being laid off. She taps the photo. His name was Kim Jae-sung. He worked for Yoon for 23 years. Serenity's stomach turns. I didn't know. Most people don't. The company buried it, paid the family to stay quiet. Minji's gaze is steady. I'm not trying to manipulate you, but you have a platform here. You're working inside the company. If you speak up, people will listen. And if I don't, then the story runs without you. But it'll be weaker, less personal. Minji sits back. I'm giving you a choice, Ms. Robinson. Use your voice, or let this stay buried. Serenity looks at the photos, faces that could be her mother's, stories that could be her family's. The anger is still there, sharp and hot. But so is something else. The memory of Seung Min's expression when he said, I've known for years. That decision. It's one of the things I regret most. I need 24 hours, she says finally. Take it. But Serenity? Minji's voice softens. Don't let him charm you into silence. Powerful men are very good at making you believe they've changed. It's holding them accountable that actually creates change. Serenity leaves the cafe with Minji's words echoing in her head. She walks for an hour, past shops and restaurants, letting Seoul's chaos drown out her thoughts. By the time she gets back to the guest house, she knows what she has to do. But that doesn't make it any easier. That night, Serenity drafts an email to Minji. She writes and deletes it 3 times. Finally, she settles on, "I'll talk. On the record. But I want to see what Seungmin does first. If he follows through on reparations, the story should reflect that. If he doesn't, I'll tell you everything." Minji's response is immediate. "Fair enough. 1 week. Then we go to print either way." Serenity closes her laptop and lies back on the bed, staring at the ceiling. She's given Seungmin a deadline he doesn't know about. A test he has no idea he's taking. She should tell him. It would be fair. But fairness, she's learned, is a luxury the powerful rarely extend to anyone else. The next morning, Jin Woo appears at her door with a message. "Sajangnim requests your presence at a board meeting, 10 a.m. Serenity frowns. "I'm not on the board." "He wants you there anyway." Jin Woo's expression is carefully neutral. He's making an announcement. The boardroom is tense when she arrives. Yoon Mi-suk sits at the head of the table, her face carved from stone. The other board members whisper among themselves, tension crackling in the air. Seungmin stands at the front, a presentation queued up behind him. When he sees Serenity, something flickers in his eyes. Gratitude, maybe, or nerves. She takes a seat near the back, silent. "Thank you all for coming on short notice," Seungmin begins. His voice is steady, controlled. "I'm here to propose something that will be controversial." Mi-suk's lips thin. "Seungmin, we discussed this. I'm reopening the 2011 restructuring case." He clicks to the first slide. Factory photos, employee lists, the same data Serenity saw in the leaked document. "We're going to contact every affected employee and offer reparations. Full severance packages, healthcare coverage for those who lost it, and a formal apology." The room explodes. Board members talk over each other, voices rising. "This will cost millions. It sets a dangerous precedent. We followed the law. We don't owe them anything. Enough." Mi-suk's voice cuts through the chaos. The room falls silent. She stands, her gaze locked on Seungmin. "Nephew, step outside with me. Now." It's not a request. Seungmin follows her out. Through the glass walls, Serenity watches them argue. Mi-suk's gestures sharp and cutting, Seungmin's stance rigid but unyielding. She can't hear the words, but she doesn't need to. The body language says everything. After 10 minutes, they return. Mi-suk's expression is glacial. "The board will vote on this proposal," she announces. "Those in favor of reopening the case and providing reparations, raise your hand." Seungmin raises his immediately. 2 other board members, younger, more progressive, follow. That's 3 out of 9. Those opposed. 6 hands go up, including Mi-suk's. "The motion fails," she says, sitting down with finality. This meeting is adjourned. Board members file out quickly, avoiding Seungmin's gaze. Serenity stays seated, watching as he gathers his materials with mechanical precision. His face is blank, but his hands shake slightly. When the room is empty except for the 2 of them, she speaks. "You tried. I failed." He doesn't look at her. "I told you I'd make it right. I couldn't even get it past my own board. So what now?" He finally meets her eyes. "I don't know." It's the first time she's heard him admit uncertainty. It makes him seem more human and more lost. "There's another way," she says slowly. "What?" "Go around them. Make the announcement yourself. Personally contact the affected families. Use your own money if you have to. That would be..." He stops. "Career suicide. Mi-suk would see it as insubordination. The board could remove me." "I know." She stands, moving closer. "But you said you wanted to make it right. This is how. Not through boardroom votes and corporate policy, through direct action." One person to another. He's silent for a long time. Then, You're asking me to choose between the company and my conscience. I'm asking you to choose what kind of man you want to be. His jaw tightens. If I do this, I lose everything I've built. Maybe, or maybe you build something better. She can see the war happening behind his eyes. Duty versus morality, control versus courage. She doesn't push. This has to be his choice. Finally, he nods. I'll need a list of names, addresses. Every person affected by that restructuring. Jinwoo can pull it. And I'll need someone to help me reach out to them. Someone who understands what they went through. He looks at her. Will you help me? It's a risk. If she says yes, she's tied to whatever happens next. The backlash, the consequences, the potential failure. But it's also a chance to actually make a difference instead of just bearing witness to injustice. Yes, she says. I'll help you. Something shifts in his expression. Relief, gratitude, and something deeper. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. This is going to get ugly. I know. He almost smiles. But at least I won't face it alone. And in that moment, despite everything, the anger, the betrayal, the impossible situation they're in, Serenity realizes she's made a choice too. Not to trust him completely. Not yet. But to believe that people can change. That the man who caught her in the lobby might become the man who stands up for the people he hurt. Even if it costs him everything. Jinwoo delivers the list 2 days later. 473 names. Factory workers, administrative staff, maintenance crews. People whose lives were upended by a single decision made in a boardroom they never entered. Serenity and Seung-min work through them methodically. They start with current addresses, cross-referencing public records and social media. Some people have moved, others have passed away. Each name is a story, a life interrupted. They divide the work. Seung-min drafts personal letters, each one slightly different, acknowledging specific details. Years of service, department, the abruptness of the closure. Serenity reviews them, adding softer language where his clinical precision creeps in. You can't say operational necessity, she tells him, marking up a draft. It sounds like a board memo. What should I say? The truth. That it was wrong. That you were trying to save the company but you sacrificed people to do it. That you're sorry. He rewrites it. She approves. They work late into the night, the office empty except for the two of them, and the city lights stretching to the horizon. At some point, Jinwoo brings food, simple kimbap and tea. They eat in silence, the weight of what they're doing settling over them. My father would hate this, Seung-min says quietly. Serenity looks up. Why? He built this company from nothing, fought for every contract, every expansion. He believed in ruthless efficiency. The strong survive, the weak adapt or fail. He sets down his tea. He would see this as weakness, as putting sentiment above survival. And what do you see it as? Necessary. He meets her gaze. I've spent 14 years proving I could lead like him. Maybe it's time I prove I can lead differently. There's a vulnerability in his voice that catches her off guard. This isn't the CEO speaking. It's the son, still trying to escape his father's shadow. For what it's worth, she says, I think this takes more strength than any boardroom decision ever could. He doesn't respond, but something in his eyes softens. They finish the letters at 3 a.m. 473 envelopes, each one signed personally by Seung-min. Each one containing an apology, an offer of reparations, and a phone number to call if they want to talk. What happens when your aunt finds out? Serenity asks as they seal the last envelope. She'll be furious. The board will demand my resignation. He leans back in his chair, exhaustion written in every line of his face. But they can't undo the letters once they're sent. You're really willing to lose all of this? I'm willing to try to be the kind of person who deserves to keep it. He looks at her. You made me see that. That power without accountability is just another form of violence. The words hang between them, honest and raw. Serenity feels something shift in her chest, the last of her anger giving way to something more complicated. Respect, admiration, and maybe, despite everything, the beginning of forgiveness. "We should get some sleep," she says. "Tomorrow's going to be difficult." "Tomorrow's going to be hell," he corrects. But there's a faint smile on his lips. They leave the office together, the box of letters between them. In the lobby, the same lobby where she collapsed weeks ago, they pause. "Thank you," he says, "for staying, for helping with this. Thank you for doing it." He steps closer, and for a moment she thinks he might kiss her. The air between them is charged, heavy with possibility. But he just nods, a slight bow, and heads for his car. Serenity watches him go, her heart doing complicated things she's not ready to name. Then she takes the subway back to the guest house, the city humming around her, and tries not to think about how many lines she's crossed tonight, or how many more she's willing to cross for him. The letters go out on a Wednesday morning. By Thursday afternoon, the press has the story. CEO bypasses. Board to offer reparations to former employees, reads the headline in the Seoul Standard. Minji's article is thorough, balanced, and devastating. She includes quotes from workers who received letters, photos of the old factories, and a timeline of the company's profitability compared to the poverty many former employees fell into. She also includes a statement from Serenity, carefully worded, "I believe in accountability. Yoon Seung-min is trying to do the right thing, even at great personal cost. That matters." The response is immediate and polarized. Social media explodes, half praising Seung-min's courage, half accusing him of a publicity stunt. Business analysts call it financial suicide. Former employees post tearful videos, thanking him, cursing him, demanding more. And Yoon Mi-suk calls an emergency board meeting. Serenity isn't invited this time. But Jin-woo texts her updates. Jin-woo. She's demanding his resignation. Jin-woo. He's refusing. Jin-woo. They're voting now. Serenity paces her office, unable to focus on anything else. Her phone rings. Minji. "You saw the story," the journalist says. "I did. How do you feel about it?" "Terrified. Hopeful. I don't know." "Good. That means it's real." Minji pauses. "For what it's worth, I think he means it. Not every CEO would risk this much. I hope you're right." Another text from Jin-woo. "He survived. Barely. 4 votes to keep him, 3 to remove, 2 abstentions. He's staying." Serenity exhales, relief flooding through her. But the relief is short-lived. Because an hour later, Seung-min appears at her door, and he looks like he's been through a war. "You stayed," she says. "I stayed." He sinks into a chair. But Mi-suk made it clear. "One more move like this, and she'll have the votes to remove me. The board is watching everything I do now." "You knew that would happen." Knowing it and living it are different things. He rubs his face. "I just spent 2 hours being told I'm destroying my father's legacy. That I'm weak, sentimental, blinded by..." He stops. "By what?" His eyes meet hers. "By you." The words land heavy. Serenity's breath catches. "They think you've influenced me," he continues. "That I'm making these decisions because of personal feelings rather than business sense. And have I? Influenced you?" "Yes." No hesitation. "But not in the way they think. You didn't manipulate me. You just showed me a mirror, and I didn't like what I saw." She doesn't know what to say. Because the truth is, she's influenced him too. Her anger, her questions, her refusal to let him hide behind corporate speak. She made him confront himself. And somewhere along the way, he stopped being the man who hurt her family and became the man she believes in. "What happens now?" she asks. "I follow through. Every person on that list gets their reparations. I set up a fund, managed independently, so the board can't touch it. And I keep leading, carefully, knowing that every decision I make is being scrutinized." That sounds exhausting. It is. He stands. But it's better than the alternative, which is going back to the person I was before I met you. The admission hangs between them, vulnerable and true. Serenity stands too, closing the distance between them. "I'm still angry," she says quietly, "at what happened to my mom. At the fact that it took me showing up for you to actually do something. You should be. But I also see you trying. Really trying. And that matters." His hand reaches for hers, tentative. She lets him take it. His fingers are warm, steady despite everything. "I don't know how this ends," he says. "The board, the press, us. But I know I don't want to do this alone. You're not alone." And this time, when he leans in, she doesn't pull away. His lips brush hers, soft and questioning. She answers by kissing him back, slow and deliberate, a choice made with open eyes. When they break apart, the city is dark outside the window, soul glittering like scattered stars. And for the first time in weeks, Serenity feels like she's exactly where she's supposed to be, even if it's the most complicated place she's ever stood. The news cycle doesn't slow down. If anything, it intensifies. Every day brings new interviews, new op-eds, new debates about corporate responsibility and whether Seung-min's actions are genuine or performative. Serenity becomes part of the story, whether she wants to be or not. Her name appears in articles. Reporters reach out. Someone digs up her LinkedIn, her old portfolio, photos from conferences she attended years ago. Foreign Consultant Influence's Korean CEO reads one particularly invasive headline, accompanied by a photo of her and Seung-min leaving the office late one night. Hye-jin texts her, "Are you okay? This is intense." Serenity. Define okay. Hye-jin. Fair point. Coffee later. Serenity. Please. They meet at their usual cafe, and Hye-jin slides a pastry across the table before Serenity can protest. "You look like you haven't eaten in days." "I've been busy." "You've been spiraling." Hye-jin's tone is gentle but firm. "I've seen this before. People who throw themselves into work to avoid dealing with feelings. It doesn't end well." "I'm not avoiding feelings. I'm just navigating them, while also being in the middle of a media storm and dating your boss." Serenity winces. "We're not dating. It's complicated." "Complicated how?" "He kissed you. You kissed him back." That sounds pretty straightforward. It's not. Because he's still the person who signed the order that hurt my mom. And I'm still the person who can't forget that. Hye-jin's expression softens. "Can I tell you something? As someone who works in a hospital funded by his company?" "Go ahead." Yoon Seung-min is not perfect, but he's one of the few CEOs I've seen who actually listens when you tell him something's wrong. Last year, nurses here were working 18-hour shifts. We complained for months. Nothing changed. She stirs her coffee. Then he visited, saw someone collapse from exhaustion, and changed hospital policy within a week. Mandated shift caps, hired more staff, increased pay. He did that? He did. And he didn't make a press release about it, just fixed it. Hye-jin meets her gaze. "I'm not saying you have to forgive him, but I am saying he's trying to be better. And that's rare." The words settle in Serenity's chest, loosening something tight. Because maybe that's what matters. Not whether someone's past is spotless, but whether they're willing to face it and change. That evening, Seung-min invites her to his apartment for the first time. It's in a high-rise in Gangnam, minimalist and expensive, exactly what she expected. But there are small signs of humanity, books on the shelf, a half-finished puzzle on the coffee table, photos of his father on the mantel. "I don't usually bring people here," he says, handing her a glass of wine. "Why did you bring me?" "Because I'm tired of meeting in offices, and because I wanted you to see..." He gestures vaguely. "This. The parts of me that aren't the CEO." She looks around, taking it in. "You do puzzles. When I can't sleep, it helps quiet my mind. And you kept photos of your father." "I did, even though looking at them is hard." He sits on the couch and she joins him. "I spent so long trying to live up to his memory that I forgot to question whether his way was the only way. Do you think he'd be proud of you now?" "No." The answer is immediate, honest. But I think I'm finally okay with that. They sit in comfortable silence, the weight of the past few weeks settling between them. Then Sung-min speaks again, his voice low. I need to tell you something. About the restructuring. Serenity tenses. Okay. I knew it would hurt people. I knew. But at the time, I told myself it was necessary. That I was saving the company, protecting thousands of other jobs. I convinced myself that the ends justified the means. He looks at her. But the truth is, I was terrified. Of failing. Of losing the company my father built. Of proving that I wasn't strong enough to lead. So I signed the order, and I buried the guilt, and I moved forward. And now I realize that strength isn't about making hard decisions without feeling them. It's about feeling them and still trying to do better. His hand finds hers. I can't change what I did, but I can own it. And I can spend the rest of my career making sure I never prioritize profit over people again. Serenity studies him. This man who's risked everything to make amends, who's chosen integrity over comfort. And she realizes that forgiveness isn't a single moment. It's a process, a series of choices to see someone as they are now, not just as they were. I believe you, she says quietly. His eyes widen slightly. You do. I do. Not because you've said the right things, but because you've done them. She squeezes his hand. That doesn't erase the past, but it gives us somewhere to go from here. He exhales, relief and gratitude written across his face. I don't deserve you. Maybe not, but you're stuck with me anyway. He laughs, and the sound is unguarded, genuine. Then he pulls her closer, and she lets him, resting her head on his shoulder as the city lights flicker outside. For the first time in a long time, Serenity feels like she can breathe. A week later, Serenity's mother flies to Seoul. It's a surprise. Sung-min arranged it, covering the flights and accommodations without telling Serenity. She only finds out when Jinwoo picks her up with an extra passenger in the car. Mom. Serenity stares in disbelief as her mother steps out, smiling despite the obvious pain in her movements. Surprise, baby. Her mother hugs her, and Serenity holds on tight, blinking back tears. How? Your boss called me, her mother says. Said he wanted to meet me in person, to apologize. I figured I should let him. Sung-min arranged a private meeting in a quiet conference room. No press, no cameras. Just the three of them, a translator on standby, and a pot of tea that no one touches. Ms. Robinson, Sung-min begins, his voice steady but his hands clasped tight. I owe you an apology. 14 years ago, I made a decision that cost you your job, your health, and your security. I told myself it was necessary. But that doesn't make it right. And it doesn't erase the harm I caused. Serenity's mother listens, her face unreadable. When he finishes, she's quiet for a long moment. You were young, she says finally. That's not an excuse. No, but it's context. She leans forward. Mr. Yoon, I'm not going to lie and say I'm not angry. I am. I spent years in pain, financially and physically, because of that decision. But I also see what you're trying to do now. The letters, the reparations, the risks you're taking. She glances at Serenity. And I see how much my daughter believes in you. That counts for something. Sung-min's jaw tightens, emotion flickering across his face. I've set up a reparations fund. You'll receive full compensation. What you would have earned if you'd kept your job until retirement, plus medical coverage for as long as you need it. That's generous. It's the minimum. She nods slowly. Then I accept. Not because it fixes everything, but because it's a start. They shake hands, and Serenity watches two people from completely different worlds find a fragile, tentative peace. It's not perfect, but it's real. That night, the three of them have dinner at a traditional Korean restaurant. Seung-min explains each dish, and Serenity's mother tries everything with good-natured curiosity. They talk about small things, food, travel, the strange beauty of Seoul at night. At one point, Serenity's mother leans over and whispers, He's a good man, baby. Complicated, but good. I know. You love him? Serenity hesitates. Then, I'm getting there. Her mother smiles, Good. You deserve someone who sees you. Really sees you. Later, back at the guest house, Serenity's phone buzzes with a news alert. She opens it, and her breath catches. Yoon Healthcare and Tech launches Independent Reparations Fund. $50 million allocated for former employees. The article details everything. The fund's structure, the independent oversight board, the commitment to transparency. And at the bottom, a quote from Seung-min. I cannot undo the past, but I can take responsibility for it. This is not charity. It is accountability. Serenity shows her mother, who reads it slowly, then nods. He did it. He actually did it. He did. And in that moment, Serenity realizes that the man who caught her in the lobby has become something more. Someone who doesn't just promise change, but delivers it, no matter the cost. Someone worth believing in. The press conference is scheduled for a Wednesday afternoon in the main auditorium of Yoon Healthcare and Tech headquarters. Journalists pack the room, local media, international outlets, bloggers, and activists. Cameras line the back wall. The air hums with anticipation and skepticism. Seung-min stands at the podium, Serenity seated off to the side with Jin-woo. He's dressed simply, dark suit, no flashy accessories, his expression serious. Behind him, a screen displays the Yoon logo alongside photos of the old factories. Thank you all for coming, he begins. His voice is calm, but Serenity can see the tension in his shoulders. I'm here today to address decisions I made 14 years ago. Decisions that harmed hundreds of people and their families. He doesn't sugarcoat it. He walks through the restructuring, the timelines, the layoffs, the minimal severance. He shows graphs comparing company profits to the financial devastation experienced by former employees. He names names, including Kim Jae-sung, the man who died by suicide. I was 25, he continues. I was desperate to prove I could lead, and I made choices that prioritized the company's survival over the people who built it. I cannot undo those choices, but I can take responsibility for them. He announces the reparations fund in detail. How much, who's eligible, the independent oversight structure. He invites former employees to come forward, promises transparency, and opens the floor to questions. The questions are brutal. Isn't this just a PR move? How do we know you won't do the same thing again? Do you expect us to believe you suddenly care about workers after 14 years? Seung-min answers each one directly, without deflection. I can't prove my intentions with words. Only with sustained action. Hold me accountable. If I fail, call me out. I won't hide from it. One journalist stands. Mr. Yoon, your board reportedly opposed this fund. Why go against them? Because they were wrong. And I was wrong to consider their approval more important than doing what's right. Another voice. Your aunt, Chairwoman Yoon Mi-suk, has publicly stated that this decision undermines company stability. What do you say to that? Seung-min pauses. When he speaks, his voice is measured. I love and respect my aunt. She taught me how to lead, but we disagree on this, and I've chosen to prioritize the people we hurt over the board's comfort. The room buzzes. Reporters type furiously. Cameras flash. Finally, someone asks, what do you hope to achieve with this? Seung-min looks directly into the camera. I hope to prove that a company can be profitable and ethical, that accountability isn't weakness, it's leadership, and that it's never too late to try to make things right. The conference ends. Seung-min steps away from the podium, and Serenity meets him backstage. He looks exhausted, his face drawn. How was it? He asks. Honest, painful, necessary. He nods. Mi-suk is furious. She's already released a statement distancing herself from the decision. Does that surprise you? No, but it still hurts. She takes his hand. You did the right thing. I hope so. He exhales slowly. Because there's no going back now. Over the next 2 weeks, Seung-min meets with former employees in person. One by one, they come to the company headquarters. Some angry, some tearful, some cautiously hopeful. Serenity sits in on many of the meetings, a quiet presence, offering support when things get tense. She watches as Seungmin listens to stories of hardship. Mortgages lost, marriages strained, children who had to drop out of college. He doesn't defend himself. He just listens, apologizes, and asks what they need. One man, a former factory supervisor named Lee Dong-hyun, arrives with his adult daughter. He's in his 60s, his hands scarred from years of manual labor. "I worked for your father," Lee says, his voice thick with emotion. 20 years. He shook my hand once, told me I was invaluable. Then you signed a paper and I was gone. Seungmin bows deeply. "I'm sorry. Truly. Sorry doesn't feed my family. No. But I hope this helps." He slides an envelope across the table. A check for the full reparations amount, plus a personal note. Lee opens it, reads the amount, and his daughter gasps. "This is what you're owed, plus interest." Lee stares at the check, then at Seungmin. Tears stream down his face. "Why now? After all this time?" "Because I finally understood that I couldn't move forward while carrying this weight. And because someone showed me that accountability matters more than reputation." Lee nods slowly. "I don't forgive you, not yet. But I see you're trying. That's something." They shake hands. When Lee leaves, Seungmin sits in silence for a long time, his face buried in his hands. Serenity moves closer, resting a hand on his shoulder. "You're doing the right thing. It doesn't feel like enough. It's not. But it's something. And for people like Lee, it's everything." By the end of the month, 312 families have accepted reparations. The fund has paid out over $30 million. Media coverage shifts, from skepticism to cautious praise. Business analysts note that company stock has dropped slightly, but employee morale within the company has surged. And slowly, grudgingly, the board begins to accept that Seungmin's approach might actually work. Yoon Mi-suk remains distant, her public statements cold and formal. But one evening, Jin-woo delivers a handwritten note to Seungmin. "You remind me of your father in the ways that matter, and you've surpassed him in the ways that count. Aunt." Seungmin reads it twice, then folds it carefully and tucks it into his desk. When Serenity asks what it says, he just smiles. "She's coming around." "That's good." "It is." He pulls her close, pressing a kiss to her forehead. "Thank you. For everything. For not giving up on me. I didn't do anything. You did everything." His voice is soft, earnest. "You made me see that caring isn't control, that love is presence, not management. That I could be more than the decisions I made at 25. Serenity tilts her head up, meeting his gaze. "And what are you now?" "Still figuring it out. But with you, I think I can." He kisses her, slow and certain, and she kisses him back, feeling the last walls between them crumble. This isn't a perfect love story. It's messy, complicated, built on a foundation of pain and repair. But it's real. And that's enough. Not everyone is ready to move forward. A faction within the board, led by an older executive named Director Shin, begins pushing for Seungmin's removal. They circulate a petition, gather support from conservative shareholders, and leak internal emails to the press. Yoon Seung-min's radical decisions destabilize company, reads one headline. Board members question CEO's judgment, reads another. The pressure mounts. Seung-min receives formal notice of a vote of no confidence, scheduled for the end of the quarter. If he loses, he's out. Serenity finds him in his office late one night, staring at the skyline. "You look like you're planning to jump," she says, trying for humor. Tempting. He doesn't smile. "They're going to vote me out." "You don't know that." "I do. Shin has 7 votes locked in. I need 6 to stay. I have 5. Who's the swing vote?" "Mi-suk." Serenity's stomach sinks. "Have you talked to her?" "She won't return my calls." "Then go to her. In person. Make her listen." "She's made up her mind." "Maybe. Or maybe she's waiting for you to fight for this." Serenity moves to stand in front of him, forcing eye contact. "You've spent the last month fighting for strangers. Fight for yourself now." He holds her gaze, and slowly determination replaces defeat. You're right. I usually am. That night, Seung-min drives to Mi-suk's estate, a sprawling traditional home in the hills outside Seoul. She keeps him waiting for 20 minutes before finally receiving him in her study. "Aunt," he begins, bowing respectfully. "Seung-min." Her voice is cold. "You should not have come. I had to. The board is voting on my removal. I need your support. You lost my support when you defied the board's decision. I made the right choice. You made an emotional choice. Driven by guilt and, if I'm honest, by that woman." She stands, her gaze sharp. "I taught you to lead with logic, with strength. You've abandoned both. No, I've learned that strength without humanity is just cruelty." He steps closer. "Aunt, you raised me. You taught me to survive, to fight, to never show weakness. And I'm grateful. But I can't lead like that anymore. It's destroying me. So you'd rather destroy the company? I'd rather build something worth keeping." His voice is steady, firm. "The old way, the way Father led, the way you taught me, it works. But it leaves bodies behind, and I'm done stepping over them." Mi-suk's expression flickers. "Your father would be disappointed in me, I know, but I'd rather disappoint his memory than betray my conscience." Silence stretches between them. Then finally, Mi-suk sighs. "You remind me of him," she says quietly. "Not in the ways I expected, but in the ways that matter." She returns to her seat. "I will vote to keep you. On one condition." "What?" "You stop apologizing for choosing integrity. You lead boldly, and you prove that a company can thrive while doing good. No more doubt. No more second-guessing." Seung-min bows deeply. "Thank you, Aunt." "Don't thank me yet. You still have a company to save." The vote happens on a cold Friday morning. Serenity waits outside the boardroom, pacing, while Jin-woo sits calmly nearby. "He'll be fine," Jin-woo says. "You don't know that." "I know him. He doesn't lose fights that matter." An hour later, the boardroom doors open. Seung-min emerges, his expression unreadable. Then he sees Serenity, and he smiles. "I'm staying." She launches herself at him, and he catches her, spinning her once before setting her down. Jin-woo claps politely. "How many votes?" Serenity asks. 6-4, with Mi-suk abstaining officially but supporting privately. Shin walked out. "Good riddance." "Agreed." He takes her hand. "Come on. Let's get out of here." They don't go somewhere fancy. Instead, Seung-min takes her to the small cafe near the hospital where they first had coffee weeks ago. It's quiet, unassuming, the kind of place where no one recognizes him. They order Americanos and sit by the window, watching the city move around them. "What happens now?" Serenity asks. "Now we rebuild, continue the reparations program, implement the new app design, prove that this company can be both profitable and ethical." "And us?" He reaches across the table, taking her hand. "I want you to stay, not as a consultant, as a partner. Help me build something better." "In what capacity?" "Any capacity you want. Director of User Experience, Chief Ethics Officer, my girlfriend." He smiles. "All of the above." She laughs. "That's a lot of titles. You can handle it." "Can I?" She sobers. "Seung-min, I came here to escape work, to figure out who I am outside of burnout and productivity. If I stay, I need to do it differently. Then we'll do it differently. Together." His thumb brushes over her knuckles. "Reasonable hours, boundaries, actual vacations. I'm learning too. Teach me." She studies him, this man who's fought his board, his family, and his own past to become someone better. And she realizes that staying isn't about going back to who she was. It's about building who she wants to be. With someone who sees her, supports her, and believes she deserves rest as much as ambition. "Okay," she says. "I'll stay." His smile is bright, unguarded. "Yeah? Yeah, but I have conditions." "Name them." 1. I work 4 days a week. Fridays are mine. Done. 2. No more 18-hour days. For either of us. Agreed. 3. You teach me to solve that puzzle on your coffee table. He laughs. That's your third condition? It is. I've been curious. Deal. He leans across the table and kisses her, soft and sure, and she feels herself settle into something that feels like home. The next few months are a study in balance. Serenity officially joins Yoon Healthcare and Tech as Director of User Experience and Ethics, a newly created role that gives her the authority to challenge decisions and advocate for users. She works closely with Jiho, who's become a genuine ally, and together they overhaul the company's product development process to center human needs alongside technical innovation. Seungmin continues the reparations program, meeting personally with families, expanding the fund's scope, and implementing new labor policies across the company. He's exhausted most days, but there's a lightness to him now, a sense of purpose beyond just survival. And their relationship deepens. They move slowly, deliberately, building trust through small moments, shared meals, late-night conversations, weekend trips to quieter parts of Korea. Serenity meets more of his world, friends, colleagues, even Misuk, who thaws incrementally. One evening, they're at Seungmin's apartment, working on that puzzle he promised to teach her. It's a landscape of Jeju Island, over 1,000 pieces. I'm terrible at this, Serenity mutters, trying to force 2 pieces together. You're impatient. He gently takes the pieces, finds the right fit, and clicks them into place. See? You just have to slow down. I'm not good at slowing down. I've noticed. He sets down the puzzle piece and looks at her. Can I ask you something? Of course. Why did you really stay? It wasn't just the job. She considers the question, turning it over. Because you made me believe that someone can change, that mistakes don't have to define you. And because... She meets his gaze. Because I realized that I didn't want to figure out who I am without you. I wanted to figure it out with you. His eyes soften. I love you, Serenity. The words hang in the air, simple and enormous. She feels them settle in her chest, warm and sure. I love you too, she says. He kisses her, and the puzzle is forgotten as they lose themselves in each other, the city glowing outside the window like a promise. 6 months after Serenity collapsed in that lobby, they take their first real vacation together. Not a business trip, not a working retreat, an actual vacation. They choose Jeju Island, renting a small house near the coast. For 5 days, they disconnect. No emails, no board meetings, no press conferences, just the ocean, good food, and each other. Serenity teaches Seungmin how to relax, how to sit on the beach without planning the next 10 steps, how to nap in the afternoon without guilt, how to simply be present. This is strange, he admits one afternoon, lying on a blanket with the sun on his face. What is? Doing nothing. I keep thinking I should be working on something. That's because your brain is used to productivity as survival, but you're safe now. The company's stable. You're allowed to rest. He turns his head to look at her. How did I get so lucky? You caught me when I fell. That's got to count for something. He laughs, pulling her close. Best decision I ever made. On their last night, they sit on the beach watching the sunset. The sky is painted in shades of orange and pink, the waves lapping gently at the shore. I've been thinking, Seungmin says, about the future. Yeah? I want to expand the reparations model, make it permanent. Not just for past wrongs, but as ongoing practice. Every year, audit our labor practices, listen to employees, course correct when we're wrong. That's ambitious. I know, but I think it's necessary, and I want you to lead it. Serenity looks at him surprised. Me? You understand people. You hold me accountable. You're the best person for it. He takes her hand. What do you think? She thinks about how far they've both come. From a lobby where she collapsed and he caught her, to a beach where they're planning a future together. It's not perfect. There will be more challenges, more mistakes, more moments of doubt. But they'll face them together. I think, she says slowly, that's exactly the kind of work I want to do. He smiles, and it's the kind of smile that reaches his eyes, unguarded and full of hope. Then let's do it. They sit in silence as the sun dips below the horizon, painting the world in twilight. And Serenity realizes that this moment of quiet connection, of shared purpose, of love built on honesty and repair, is what she's been searching for all along. Not perfection, just presence, and the promise that when she falls, someone will be there to catch her, not to fix her, but to stand beside her while she finds her footing again. A year later, Serenity is in the middle of presenting the annual ethics audit to the board when it happens again. A young employee, a designer named Park Soo-jin, stands to ask a question. Halfway through her sentence, she sways, her face going pale. Serenity recognizes the signs immediately: the glassy eyes, the slight stumble, the way her hand reaches for the table but misses. Seung-min is on his feet instantly, crossing the room in long strides. He reaches Soo-jin just as her knees buckle, catching her with practiced ease. "Someone call the medical team," he says calmly, "and clear some space." Serenity is already moving, grabbing a bottle of water, kneeling beside them. "Soo-jin, can you hear me?" The young woman's eyes flutter open. "I'm sorry, I haven't been sleeping well. Too much work." "How many hours have you been putting in?" Seung-min asks. "Maybe 60 this week?" His jaw tightens. "That's unacceptable." "Who's your manager?" "Sajang-nim. It's not their fault, It's my fault." He looks up at the board members still watching. "This is why we have these policies. No one should be working themselves to collapse." He helps Soo-jin to a chair, then turns to Jin-woo. "Cancel the rest of the meeting and schedule a department-wide review of working hours. I want to know who else is burning out." Jin-woo nods and begins making calls. Serenity stays with Soo-jin until the medical team arrives. When the young woman is stable and resting in the company clinic, Serenity finds Seung-min in his office, staring out the window. "You okay?" she asks. "No." He turns to her, frustration and guilt etched on his face. "I thought we fixed this. The policies, the monitoring, the culture shifts. How did we miss her?" "Because systems aren't perfect. People slip through. What matters is that you caught her." She steps closer. "Just like you caught me." His expression softens. "I don't want anyone else to feel like they have to work until they collapse. Then we keep improving. We keep listening. That's all we can do." He nods, pulling her into a hug. "You're right, as usual. I usually am." They stand there for a long moment, holding each other while the city hums below. And Serenity thinks about how far they've come. From strangers in a lobby to partners building something better. It's not easy. It never will be. But it's worth it. 2 years after that first collapse, Serenity walks through the Yoon Healthcare and Tech lobby with a different rhythm. She knows the security guards by name now. She stops to chat with the receptionist about her daughter's upcoming graduation. She waves at employees passing by, people whose lives she's touched through the ethics program she's built. The lobby looks the same. Marble floors, gleaming glass. That sign that still reads, "Redesigning life expectancy." But it feels different. Warmer. More human. Seung-min meets her at the elevator, as he often does when they arrive separately. He's dressed in his usual sharp suit, but there's a softness to him now, an ease that wasn't there before. "Ready for the presentation?" he asks. "Always." They're presenting the 2-year impact report to the board. Data showing improved employee well-being, reduced turnover, higher productivity, and yes, sustained profitability. The company is thriving, not despite the ethical reforms, but because of them. The presentation goes well. Even the more conservative board members nod approvingly at the numbers. Mi-suk, who stepped back from day-to-day involvement but still attends major meetings, catches Serenity's eye and gives a small approving nod. After, as they're packing up, Seung-min's phone buzzes. He glances at it and smiles. "What is it?" Serenity asks. "Remember Lee Dong-hyun, the factory supervisor?" "Of course. His daughter just started a business. She's asking if we'd consider partnering with her company for supply chain work. Are you going to? If her proposal is solid, absolutely. He pockets his phone. Serenity, do you remember what you asked me that night at the restaurant about what happens when the work runs out? I remember. I think I finally have an answer. What's that? The work doesn't run out, but it changes. It becomes about building, not just surviving. About connection, not just control. He takes her hand. About love, not just duty. She smiles. That's a good answer. I learned from the best. They walk out of the boardroom together, through the hallways filled with employees who trust them, respect them, and believe in what they're building. They take the elevator down to the lobby, that same lobby where everything began. Serenity pauses at the spot where she collapsed 2 years ago. It seems like a lifetime ago now. She was a different person then. Exhausted, running, afraid to be vulnerable. Now she's still herself, but stronger. Not because she learned to endure alone, but because she learned to let someone stand beside her. Seung-min stops beside her, following her gaze. Thinking about that day? Yeah. How different everything is now. Do you regret it? Collapsing here, meeting me, all of this? She looks at him. This man who caught her, who changed for her, who built a life with her. Not for a second. He smiles, and it's full of warmth and promise. Good, because I have something to ask you. What? He reaches into his jacket pocket and pulls out a small velvet box. Serenity's breath catches. I know this lobby holds a complicated history for us, he says, his voice steady despite the emotion in his eyes. This is where you fell, where I caught you, where everything changed. He opens the box to reveal a simple, elegant ring, a single diamond set in platinum, understated and perfect. I want this to be where I ask you to choose me, consciously, completely. Not because you collapsed and I happened to be there, but because we built something worth keeping. Serenity's eyes fill with tears. Seung-min, I'm not the same man who signed that restructuring order. And you're not the woman who thought she had to carry everything alone. We changed each other. We made each other better. He takes her hand. Serenity Robinson, will you marry me? Around them, the lobby has gone quiet. Employees have stopped, watching. Someone has their phone out, recording. The receptionist has her hands pressed to her mouth. Serenity doesn't care about any of it. All she sees is him. The man who learned that strength means accountability, that love means presence, that catching someone isn't about controlling their fall, but standing beside them while they find their feet. Yes, she says, her voice clear and certain. Yes, I'll marry you. He slips the ring onto her finger, and then he's kissing her, and the lobby erupts in applause. People cheer, a few employees whistle, and Jin-woo, standing near the elevator, wipes his eyes with a tissue. When they break apart, Serenity is laughing and crying at the same time. You proposed in the same spot where I passed out? I told you I'm learning to do things differently, romantic gestures included. It's perfect. Completely, ridiculously perfect. He pulls her close, pressing his forehead to hers. I love you. Every version of you. The one who collapsed, the one who challenged me, the one standing here now. All of you. I love you too. All of you. They stand there, in the middle of the lobby that started everything, surrounded by people who've become family. And Serenity realizes that this is what healing looks like. Not the absence of pain, but the presence of something stronger. Not forgetting the past, but building a future that honors it. She fell once in this lobby, and it nearly broke her. Now she's standing here, whole and loved, and choosing to fall in a completely different way, into a life she never imagined, with a man who proved that change is possible. And it all started with a collapse, a catch, and the courage to believe that sometimes falling is how we learn to fly. Chafpriyan. Epilogue. The fall that built a future. 3 years later. The Yoon Healthcare and Tech Annual Conference has a different energy now. The theme is human-centered innovation, and the speakers include not just tech executives and healthcare professionals, but former factory workers, mental health advocates, and ethics consultants. Serenity stands backstage, adjusting her notes. She's the opening keynote this year, speaking about the intersection of corporate responsibility and personal well-being. Her mother is in the front row, healthy and smiling, sitting next to Hae-jin, who's now head of the hospital's wellness program. Seung-min appears beside her, straightening his tie. He's speaking later in the afternoon, presenting the company's 5-year sustainability plan. Nervous? He asks. A little. You? Always. But I'm getting better at it. She squeezes his hand. They're both wearing rings now, simple platinum bands that match. They got married 6 months ago in a small ceremony on Jeju Island, surrounded by close friends and family. Mi-suk cried during the vows, though she denied it later. You're going to be amazing, he tells her. So are you. Jinwoo pokes his head backstage. Ms. Yoon, you're on in 2 minutes. Serenity still hasn't gotten used to being called that. Mrs. Yoon, Serenity Yoon. It feels foreign and right at the same time, like a coat she's slowly growing into. She steps onto the stage, and the applause is warm and genuine. The screen behind her shows a photo. The lobby of Yoon Healthcare and Tech, the exact spot where she collapsed 3 years ago. I'm going to tell you a story, she begins, about the day I fell apart in front of a stranger, and how that moment of complete vulnerability became the beginning of the most important work of my life. She talks about burnout, about the culture of overwork, about how her collapse forced her to confront what she'd been running from. She talks about Seung-min, not by name at first, just as the CEO who could have walked away but chose to stay. She talks about the factory closures, the reparations, the difficult conversations, and the slow, painful work of accountability. Falling apart doesn't make you weak, she says, her voice steady and strong. It makes you human. And being human, with all our flaws and failures and second chances, that's what actually creates change, not perfection, presence. The audience is silent, hanging on every word. She sees her mother dabbing her eyes, sees Hae-jin nodding, sees employees she's worked with, former factory workers who received reparations, journalists who covered the story. And she sees Seung-min standing in the wings, watching her with so much love and pride that it nearly takes her breath away. So here's what I want you to remember, she continues. If you're falling, if you're exhausted, overwhelmed, running on empty, please, let yourself fall. Find the people who will catch you, not to fix you, but to stand beside you. And then, when you're ready, do the same for someone else. Because that's how we build a better world. Not through perfection, but through presence. Not through control, but through care. She finishes to thunderous applause. As she walks off stage, Seung-min is there, pulling her into a hug. That was incredible, he whispers. We did it together. We did. Later, after all the presentations and networking sessions, they slip away to that small cafe near the hospital. Their cafe. They order their usual Americanos, simple and strong, and sit by the window, watching the city move around them. Do you ever think about how different things would be if you hadn't caught me that day? Serenity asks. All the time. He takes her hand across the table. I'd probably still be the man who measured everything in KPIs and thought control was the same as care. I'd be successful and empty. And I'd probably be back in the States, still burning out, still running. So we saved each other. We did. She smiles. Though technically, you caught me first. True, but you caught me in all the ways that mattered. They sit in comfortable silence. Two people who found each other in a moment of crisis and chose to build something lasting. The work isn't finished. It never will be. There are still employees who need support, still systems that need reform, still days when the weight of it all feels overwhelming. But they face it together. And that makes all the difference. Outside, Seoul glitters in the evening light, a city of endless possibility and second chances. And inside the cafe, A CEO who learned to lead with his heart, and a woman who learned that vulnerability is strength sit together, holding hands, grateful for the fall that brought them to this moment. Because sometimes, the best love stories begin not with a perfect first meeting, but with a collapse, a catch, and the courage to believe that broken things can become beautiful when the right person helps you pick up the pieces. And sometimes, the person who catches you when you fall isn't there to fix you. They're there to remind you that you were never broken to begin with. Just human, just tired, just in need of someone who sees you, really sees you, and chooses to stay. That's not a fairy tale. It's something better. It's real. And real, Serenity has learned, is worth fighting for. If you were in her place, if you collapsed and a stranger caught you, only to discover later that they were connected to your deepest pain, could you choose to see who they've become instead of only who they were? Could you build love on the foundation of accountability and change? That's the question at the heart of this story. And maybe it's the question we all need to ask ourselves. Are we brave enough to believe that people can transform, and that sometimes falling is exactly what we need to finally learn how to stand?